Hello! Welcome to another episode of This Which is Viral with my lovely co-host,
Hi,
best friend, and previous co-host of Broadcast to Podcast, Miss Jules. Anyone? I know you're all applauding out there. I know y'all fucking love her.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming all the way to Ottawa.
All the way to Ottawa.
Just to be on my show.
Yeah.
And see my best friend, right? I suppose.
Well.
We are so excited to be here together in person. And it's been a while again. It's been actually, a few months. Okay, it's felt like a long time.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we're able to record a podcast episode together, sitting together, all fucking cute and fucking still classy, a little bit sassy. But we're working on we're actually working on nothing. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, okay, this is just going to be off the rails. Like, I'm not sure how I'm going to contain myself or what is going to happen in this episode. I promised it would get a little more personal. Things would get a little crazy. And it's already begun because it's just been an amazing visit so far. So I did want to say, first of all, thank you so much to everybody for supporting and subscribing to my YouTube channel, which is This Which is Viral. Thank you for tuning in a couple of weeks ago. I had a lot of views. I had a lot of support, a lot of encouragement, and a lot of people coming out and just being, they were like very complimentary, and the whole thing, it was just amazing. So thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy this episode as well. So in previous years, Jules and I, if you don't know her, so obviously she's, my bestie from another Bestie. The Thelma to my Louise. Sure, I don't know what else. You got
the brunette
else?
to your blonde.
The brunette to the blonde. There's probably other describers there, but descriptors.
Yeah.
But
may not be podcast friendly.
Probably not at all. Yeah. Anyways, point being is that we had a podcast a couple of years ago, and it was all about life lessons learned, shenanigans, empowering empaths, how-tos, lots of fucking, lots of. This is an explicit episode, apparently.
We need a disclaimer.
Lots of saying the word fuck.
Hey-o.
Swearing, I guess, is the better word for it. And so we did that for a couple of years, and then we ended up, we ended up going down a completely different life path. But Jules and I have known each other for, like 20 years now.
It's over
not
20.
to age ourselves, but.
Is it over 20? I think we've hit the over 20 point.
I'm out of here. I'm done.
It's got to be.
Right? Really?
Yeah, because I met you when we were like 18 or 19. Oh, sorry.
Pardon me. Anywho, so we had a podcast. We empowered a bunch of people and etc. There's certainly shenanigans, whatever. Yes. And then we kind of like had to kind of end that podcast because Jules and I both went down different paths.
Yeah.
And completely different paths. So did you want to kind of explain a little bit of what you've been doing the last couple of years?
Well, I went and had a baby.
Oh, you said it so differently.
I know.
Come on.
I was gonna say
She got knocked up. She got knocked up. Okay.
Yeah. So that obviously took all of my time and all of your life in the best possible way. But yeah, I had to take a step back from BTP, as we refer to it, broadcast to podcast, and just kind of focus on that. Obviously, doesn't leave a lot of time for extracurriculars, as they say, as a parent. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing for a year and a half.
Yeah,
being a mom.
Yeah, exactly. So that's taken a lot of time for sure, as you said.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, you've done other things too, bought a house, etc. So it's been a busy time in your life.
Very, very much so. Yeah. Moved back provinces. I was in Alberta, now I'm back in Ontario. Like
closer to me, which is you know, up in the air if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Depends
Poor
on the
thing.
day.
You still came here though to see me and to be on my podcast. But yeah, so you've been doing all of that, which is a lot, and I applaud you for that because I don't know
Oh,
how the
thank
hell
you.
you do it all.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It's a, I don't even know. Parenthood is the wildest ride ever.
Yeah.
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 I think most people, well, maybe not most, but a lot of people probably agree on that. So yes, it's completely unexpected in so many ways. And yeah, I mean, well, we'll get into it.
Well, and this is kind of what Jules and I were talking about earlier. So basically what happened is back in 2021, her life was evolving a different way and she was
Yes.
taking a different life path. And my life was evolving in a different way and I was taking a completely different life path. And so we kind of like stopped the podcast, not because, you know, you hear all the time of people like breaking up or whatever, or growing apart, but Jules and I have always been able to navigate our journey, our friendship and our life in a way where, sorry, my dog is digging at the carpet in the background. So welcome to my home-based podcast. It's all charming, I swear. Has its charm. At least Ozzy hasn't like gone up here and showing his butt to the world yet.
Yes.
Yet.
Yeah.
Like I said, explicit today,
Yeah.
apparently. Anyways, so Jules and I have always had a lot of deep love and respect for each other. And we've always been able to, we've always gone down like completely different life paths, but in a sense parallel. So in parallel this time being that she gave birth to a baby. And
I hope so, but
I've always had a way with words. You can blame my stepdad for that. And yeah, anyways, that's another story. Anyways, and so as a child, I always saw ghosts. I always communicated with spirit. I didn't realize necessarily that it was any of that. At the time, I'm like, oh gosh, look at all these imaginary friends. They're fantastic. Finding out later that the people I was actually communicating with as a child were ghost spirits in the house that I was living in, etc., etc. So fast forward all this time, as my spiritual journey kind of started to evolve, more so in 2021, I started to do readings professionally. So I do psychic mediumship readings. I connect with people that have passed, loved ones that have passed, as well as animals. And so literally, you know, Julie's given birth and I'm talking to the dead. So like, how much more different can you get in life paths? But her path and my path have always run parallel. We've certainly done many past lives together. We've been like, we were fast friends, best friends, soul sisters, 100%. And so now fast forward a couple of years, almost 2024, crazy. Yeah, we're back and we're back. So that's kind of like what's been happening. She's been birthing a human. I've been talking to the dead. So yeah, that's right. I said that out loud. What else do we have? Let's just check the whiteboard that we can't read because I can't write very well.
And I'm blind. I don't have my glasses. So
what have you been up to? Covered that one.
Check.
Oh, baby, I started talking to the dead. Literally, this is what it says on the whiteboard.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I love you so much.
I love you too.
So I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that the energy in the world lately has been completely heavy collectively. There's been a lot going on. There's been a lot of heaviness, anxiety, depression, triggers. I know that through readings with my clients in particular lately, there's been a lot of like life changes and chapters ending and new chapters about to begin. We also did have a full moon recently. I believe that was full moon in Scorpio.
Yes. I think it depends on where you are on the earth, which is also a very interesting thing, but for a different topic.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, because different. I'll have to come back on that. Yeah, because I follow other people, and depending on where they are on the planet, which they're like in the Middle East, for them it was a full moon.
I don't think I have any follow. Oh, I might, but they're probably.
Yeah. Anyways, for us, the way it affected us though was under a Scorpio moon. So, anyways, continue on.
I forget where I was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anywho,
Triggers.
triggers.
Yeah.
So we thought we would talk about triggers because there has been a lot of triggers lately. I know a lot of people personally have been going through a lot of things. And we're talking like big, like life changing things. I can say 100% that everything will work out. It may take a little bit of time. This is certainly a time now to kind of step into your own power, to get rid of things that no longer serve you. And this is friggin' amplified. Look for those angel numbers. Look for, the 1111s. Look for all of that as life path guidance, that kind of thing. And just know that you're not alone, because I know for myself, I've woken up with anxiety. I've woken up with, this morning, my heart was like palpitating, and I'm like, oh gosh, what is going on? I am very sensitive, as are you, and very in tune and very, it's just, I feel everything, which is both a blessing and a curse. And so there's a lot of triggers happening, and even I find people kind of coming back right now to trigger you. So, stay resilient with that. Don't go back. Like, I had an ex just recently try and get back into my life, and you know what, like the block button is there for a reason. I thought he was already blocked. He was not. And I'm not going to feed into that bullshit. This is not a time to feed into bullshit you fed into in the past. This is a time to move on, move up, evolve, to grow, and to step into your power, because you can. So triggers, we were talking just briefly before, and with having a child, you were saying,
yes,
that it can be.
It is. I mean, parenthood in itself is very triggering. It's overstimulating. It's overwhelming. You're doing something that you've never done before. I'm speaking as a first-time parent and someone who, again, I consider myself, as Nina said, to be quite sensitive. So I do get touched out, overstimulated. Noise is a lot for me. And obviously children are needy and they need to be on you when they're noisy. So it's a whole process to get through that. But with the triggering piece, what I found interesting also in pregnancy as well as parenthood is things that you thought, like your bullshit that you thought you got over, comes roaring back. And I had seen, like, I'm not a huge social media person, but like I do have Instagram. There's accounts that I follow, and they had said children mirror, things that you haven't healed or whatever. And that made sense to me. But until, like with many things in life, you go through it yourself and you experience it, you don't really have a full understanding for it. You do, maybe in different ways.
Right.
Just circling back, things like, I was an extremely self-conscious teenager, very hard on myself, body image issues, so on and so forth. In pregnancy, a lot of that came back up. I'm like, why do I feel that? Like, I felt so uncomfortable in my skin. And I'm like, where is this coming from?
Right.
And it turns out it had to do with body image.
Right.
And I mean, it's so different for every woman. Like, some women are they feel like sexy and, beautiful and empowered in their skin.
Well, you were sexy and beautiful and glowing. Hello, and them tatas.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love you.
It's fine.
But it's true.
Yeah, yes. But I didn't feel that way, and it's just like,
I told you,
so
but I know it's not the same, right?
No,
People can tell you until the cows come home, and it's not the same.
So it's all these things that were like coming back. And here I'm thinking, like, I got pregnant in my late 30s, thinking like, okay, all that's behind me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a self-conscious person anymore. Seriously.
We all have our moments.
Of course.
Yes.
But it's just all these things that you thought you dealt with, you didn't, and it comes roaring back to you. So that's just one example of many that I experienced in pregnancy and as a parent. And I think it just goes to show you that different parts of your life, when you start peeling back those layers, those triggers are still going to come up, and you really have to take a minute and go, okay, where is this shit coming from?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, like, regardless of where you are or whether or not you think that, certain things have been healed, Your feelings are always valid,
100%.
number one. And number two, it's very interesting. And there's like this whole thing around a spiral staircase. I don't know if you've heard of this exercise.
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, it's really
Okay.
neat. So I did it for a client on the weekend and was trying to show her how every time you react differently or you heal something, you go like steps up the staircase and you're looking at it from a different perspective, a different point of view. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to still trigger you.
Right.
It's just that you learn tools along the way. So every step that you take, you learn these tools, you learn these techniques, you learn how to better deal with your triggers. Maybe you, instead of being as reactive, you're responsive.
Yes.
Maybe you're not perfect. Perfect, by the way, there's no perfection. Perfect doesn't exist.
No.
But as you go up this staircase, you look at it and it's further away, and you're responding to it differently.
I agree.
Right?
Yes, I agree. Because that was my, sorry, not to
No,
cut you off,
not at all.
But that was the case with me, because instead of going into like for crazy mode of like, oh my God, what, as an adult, I was able to actually take a step back and realize, okay, this is not me. Why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
Where is this coming from? Yes, you're crazy hormonal in pregnancy, obviously. But like, I knew it wasn't the real me,
right.
Where in my 20s, I thought it was the real me.
Exactly.
So it's that shift in perspective, but it's crazy how the lesson comes back as many times as it needs to for you to really take it, digest it, spit it back out. And then maybe it's just going to come back because that's just the way it is.
And that's totally the universe too, right?
Yeah,
totally. And that's the way the universe works.
Yeah.
I even noticed that. So I very recently had my stepdad, which my dad, he raised me, come up, and love him like crazy. And thank you so much for bringing your toolbox. We were talking about this earlier. I'm like, our dad's great, because I'm like, Dad. So I don't know if you've remembered, probably not, but I had a short-lived little DIY DeBoss. Actually, it was DeBoss DIY blog, with the house. So that was that short-lived little blog about like little projects around my house. And then I realized that this was a really bad idea because, for multiple reasons, I didn't have a lot of money back then to like be doing all these projects, and he lived 8 hours away and he only comes up so often. Anyways, so I'm very thankful when he does, because he's done a lot for me in the meantime.
Yeah.
Including this past time. So I always say, oh yeah, I just have, this little project here and there and that little project over there. He, backing up to the blog, helped me with a lot of those. Let's just be honest. I mean, I did some. He was a good person to guide me.
Yes.
But he's done a lot. So I laughed when he brought his toolbox. Anyways, that was not my fucking point. That's happening a lot today. I'm blaming the moon and the energy. Yeah. Anyways, my point being is that even like with having him in the house for a week, there was so many different triggers and so many ways where I was like, oh, that's why I do this, and that's why I do that, and oh, like this is why I have that, and that's why I have this. And it's just a really interesting opportunity to kind of step back and go, like it's very like wild for your self-awareness, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I almost
crazy.
feel like when you're more receptive to things and when you're more open to things, you're kind of given like little nuggets of information that make you go, oh,
and that's
it's your light bulb
the universe
moment.
too, again, right?
Yes. But if you're not in that headspace or ready to receive that message or have that understanding, it's not going to come to you the way that it needs to, I guess.
Yeah, you kind of shut it down. The more open you are to receive, right?
Yeah.
The more you get into a line with.
Yeah. But it's hard when you're given those little nuggets of information, because you have to process it and you're going,
fuck this.
Holy shit. Like, especially with like growing up with parents and stuff. And obviously, that's a whole other thing, but they're doing the best they can. And,
totally. And they're doing the best they can based on how they were raised as well. 100%. Right?
Yeah. So, but anyways, just to say that those triggers, but that's what opens up your eyes and peels those layers off. But you have to be open to it and try to not be
resistant. And that's
yeah.
also going back to the whole point right now of how the energy is.
Yeah.
This is a time to be doing just that, is being open to receive, sitting quietly, you know, resting, recharging, rejuvenating, that kind of thing. And just, again, receiving.
Yes. And it's the ebb and flow of it, because it can be really overwhelming if you're trying to do it all at once or find all the answers that you want at once. That's one thing that I tend to do, is like, I kind of get those nuggets of light bulb moments, and I'm like, okay, but why was I like this? Or, oh, that's why I'm like that. And you're like trying to find all these answers, and you just gotta let the ebb and flow of it come to you.
Yeah.
That's how I function best with it.
Let the ebb and flow.
Let it ebb and flow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
that's all I thought about when you said that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I can't hold it in.
So yeah, as much as those triggers are so hard to
sit with
and receive, you gotta let it like flow. I don't know.
Percolate.
Sure. Like coffee, like a good cup of coffee.
Oh God. Okay. Well, all right. Anyways,
what's next on the list?
I think let's see. Triggers and unhealed wounds. Check. Has this been 22 minutes yet?
Oh, I don't know. Do it?
There's no time.
Oh,
no time. Well, I'm very. We're still recording. We're just like.
Is that all on the list?
That's the list. List.
That's a great list.
So. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, we came up with it together.
Did all right.
So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of This Witch is Viral with Jules and the boss. I've had such an amazing time having you back. And
it's just nice to be back.
Right. Okay,
as cheesy as it sounds. I know it sounds cheesy, but it is just good to sit behind a mic again and like chat with one of your loved ones. Yeah. You know, and so it's
your bestie from another breastie. The moon to your sun.
I still like the
crab to your lion.
Oh, too. Yeah.
The got fuck all. I'm done with that. So thank you again.
Yes,
I really appreciate it. I love you so much.
Anytime.
I love you like crazy.
Might see me again at some point.
Yes, I hope so. Sooner than later.
You know.
Let's do it every week. No, I know. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I can be found, This Witch is Viral, on Instagram under This Witch is Viral. You can also find me on Facebook under Nina DeBoss, or on Instagram once again at the Nina DeBoss. That's pretty much it for now. My website is kind of under construction, and there's been a lot of things happening. There will be a lot more changes. I'm also hoping to get this podcast on different platforms. So instead of looking at my face, you might just be able to give it a listen if you're, in your car or at the gym or whatever. So I'm very excited to hopefully do all of that sooner than later, probably looking into the new year, not gonna lie. Lots of things happening. So
Christmas around the corner.
Christmas is around the corner. And so Thank you so much. And once again, let me find that record button. All right, how the fuck do we stop this shit? Oh, here we go. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks. Cheers. Bye. No. Did I end it? Oh gosh. I'm not professional. Okay, where did it go? Oh boy. Oh,
there you
bye.
Go.